everybody for watching the Intuitive Art Show. I'm Rachel Archelaus, and I'm here with Jessie Webb. Today is going to be very interesting because Jessie is multi-talented. She's an artist. She channels, she has relations with her cosmic family, and she helps others have the same thing. She's also a marketing goddess and web designer, and she just made this epic move across Canada to go and live in her hometown, and so much is unraveling for her there. And she's also a guinea pig enthusiast and has a little family of her own and forages for their meals, and so I'm sure when it's not snowing. But I just can't wait to talk to her. Actually, we've been trying to have this interview for months now, and it's finally here, and I'm just so excited. So, Jessie, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm excited to be doing this finally.
Yeah. Well, it's understandable. You've had a lot going on this year. So we were talking earlier, and just to kind of brief you, audience, Jessie's one of these people who has so much heart and intuition that she kind of does whatever her intuition calls her to do. And I just love that about her. And she's so honest with her audience. And she kind of like took us on this whole journey with her this year. And it's been amazing to watch her vulnerability and her courage. So I don't know if you want to start here. Like, do you want to tell us a little bit about the journey that you took?
Sure. Yeah. It was, this has been an amazing year as far as transitions and transformation and journeying. And, it included a literal physical journey from Eastern Canada to Western Canada, coming back to my hometown. I had spent 10 years out east, and it feels like kind of the completion of the cycle, coming full circle. I did not expect to end up back in my hometown. I literally thought I was just coming back to visit family, and ended up staying and renting my own place here, and it feels really good. Like, it feels right. It feels aligned. It feels like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's been really powerful. It feels like completing a circle, completing a cycle, coming full circle back to where I came from, back to my roots, and bringing kind of that newer, bigger version of me, that who I am now, bringing that home and now integrating that with where I've come from. And it's been amazing.
Very cool. So I know, like, the thought for me, I left home as well just a couple years ago. And at the time, I thought that it would be a good thing for me to not live around the people who I grew up with, who saw me as a certain thing. What is it like for you now to be around those same people? Are you able to hold your vibration and kind of be your new self in all these circumstances?
That's a great question. That's definitely something that's come up for me quite a bit since I've been back. I feel like for the most part, I am able to kind of hold that frequency and be who I am now without falling back into old patterns or any of that kind of thing. I'm also finding that I really have a tendency to keep to myself. I'm a bit of a hermit, and even though I'm now in the same town with my family and people that I grew up with, I don't really physically see them a lot. And that feels really good to me. Like, I feel like I really have my own space, my own container to be me, to express me in a way that's comfortable and safe for me, without feeling like I'm constantly bumping up against, people's expectations of who they knew me as or anything like that. So it's been really interesting to be back here physically, and I do see them a lot more often than I did when I was out east, but there's still kind of like this buffer or this space where I still have this container is the word that keeps coming to mind, like this container to really still be me and be who I am now without feeling like I'm getting pulled back into old patterns or anything like that. So it's been interesting, kind of this integration of physically being back here, but also feeling like I'm still safe to be who I really am.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So how has art helped you in this process? Because I know you do soul art. You also channel art from everywhere, right? So can you tell us about your art and kind of what that does for you?
Yeah, art is a very powerful process tool for me. It's been really interesting kind of bringing that part of me back here too, because I wasn't an artist, or I wasn't exploring it in that way when I lived here before. So that's been a big part of kind of this newer version of me that's now come home. And it's felt really good to, be creating art in this space and seeing what kind of paintings and artwork channel through me from this space. And I feel like kind of the flavor and the style of my artwork has changed a little bit just being in a different physical space. And it's also been a really awesome reminder for me of who I really am. Like being surrounded by my artwork here, I have constant visual reminders of kind of where I've come from and who my cosmic family are. Like I've got paintings up on, all of my walls here, and paintings that I've done with my, ET family, for example, that constantly remind me of that connection and who I am as a greater being. So it's been really powerful as far as, just like helping me remember who I really am, and then helping me to really integrate and visualize kind of where I'm at in this crazy journey that I'm on as I go too.
That's awesome. So speaking of the crazy journey and your ET family, you have something called, your business called galactivateyou.com, and you channel the light language. You also talk to ET beings. You channel their messages and themselves in art. So you seem really connected to that part of our existence. Where did that start? Is that something from childhood, or is it something you kind of got into as an adult?
Yeah, so I think it's always been a part of me. Even as a kid, I know, like just always kind of had this knowing that, of course, we're not the only beings in the universe. Of course, there's other life out there. Even though I was raised Christian and very religious, I still just always had that knowing, even though it wasn't part of kind of the belief system that I was brought up in necessarily. But it wasn't until 3 years ago that I consciously became aware of that connection, and kind of the pieces kind of fell into place. Some dots were connected for me, and I realized, oh my goodness, I have family who are extraterrestrials. I have other incarnations where I am an extraterrestrial myself. I have hybrid kids that have my DNA and ET DNA. And that was when it all kind of clicked into place for me. Was 3 years ago was the year I turned 30. There was a lot that kind of clicked into place that year, and that was a big piece of it, just that conscious awareness of it. And it was a remembering that, oh my goodness, this is who I am.
That's awesome. Yeah, 3 years ago was a big year for me in that as well. A lot more consciousness came for me and my path and my family and my kids and all that stuff. So it's got to be something where, obviously the veil keeps thinning. We keep getting more and more access to this higher energy. So it's just going to continue. So how did that change your life? I mean, did that kind of stir up anything in your personal life and your business life? Is that when you got the call to kind of do this for your work?
That was when it started. Yeah. At that point, I knew that that was going to be part of what I would be doing, or what my mission was here. It was very obvious that, of course, this is part of who I am, so it's part of what I'm here to express. It's part of what I'm here to do. And that was when I started doing more, like painting connected to that, started doing some channeling and talking about it a little bit. But it was like it wasn't fully grounded or hadn't fully landed, or like I still had my own process, my own journey to go through. I'm still on that journey in that process, of course. But that was kind of when the vision started, or I started to see that, okay, this is one of those pieces that's going to kind of weave into my work and what I'm here to do.
Interesting. And I think this is something that people should definitely take note of, is that it didn't all materialize at once in this, shiny box with like the business plan and how to make money and all of that stuff. Like it's a drip process. And even with me in intuitive art, I started doing that when I was 11, and by the time I was in my early 20s, I knew that I wanted a certification. I wanted to, write a book about it, but all of that really took a lot of time because I was on a personal growth journey and I wasn't ready for that yet. And that was, already 14 years ago when I was 20. So, I love that you go with it though, because a lot of people, they get so discouraged that it's not like an overnight success and they don't have every answer. So how have you been able to kind of dance with it and let it evolve naturally?
That's a great question. And I won't say that it's been easy or or obvious or anything like that. It's totally been a process for me and still is, like, just kind of being in the question mark and letting it be okay that I don't know how it's going to look, or I don't know how this all fits together, or I don't know how I'm going to make money or what my business is going to look like. And just being okay with not knowing, I think, has been the kind of the big piece for me, and still is. Like, I don't know the details, I don't know how, and that's okay. That's okay. It's about just following my flow, following my highest excitement in each moment, whatever that looks like, and trusting, knowing that it's all going to play out as it needs to, as my higher self has orchestrated it to. And that's not always easy. Sometimes it can be very frustrating, when my mind wants to figure it out, wants to understand it logically, and wants to know how it's all going to look. And but yeah, it's just been about, like, really learning to trust the flow, trust that the one thing that I'm here to do is be and express me, and I can't get it wrong. There is no right way to do it. Like, it's just all about just being in the flow, whatever that looks like for me in each moment, and trusting that it's all going to play out perfectly.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad you said that. That's the only reason why we're here, just to be. And you don't even have to do anything. You could go lay under a rock for your whole life and you're still doing an amazing job, and you still get just as much unconditional love from your higher self and the universe. Like, it's not about what you do. It's about you. You are already it. You're already a winner. Like, there's nothing to attain. But some of us do feel called to create certain things, and it's wonderful that you're so willing to just be with it and to not have to know everything. I still don't know what I'm doing, and it may not appear that way, but I still make it up every day, and I still don't know how everything comes together. Like, I still kind of have two separate businesses similar to you. I have one that focuses more on business and one that focuses more on art. So can you tell us a little bit about that part of you, like the marketing and the web design? Because I love what you do. I mean, it's so clear. Your images are so beautiful and colorful. So it's definitely an expression. How has that served you as you figure out this other part?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, it's definitely very much a part of who I am and what I'm here to express. I've been a web designer for over a decade now, I guess, and it's really, I love the online world. I love the internet. I have, ever since I discovered it as a teenager. Like, it just gives me a space to where I feel like I feel safe to show up and be me. I'm not so good in person with people. I feel awkward and shy and kind of tend to stay in the background. But online, it's like I feel there's like the safety and this. It's kind of like it's my environment, it's my element, and I can really show up and share who I am. And so it was just kind of natural to help other people with that as well. And being artistic and creative, like I love doing the design and playing with graphics and visuals and kind of translating that artistic creative piece into the digital online world. And it's awesome to be able to help my clients with that piece and to see them feeling confident, feeling excited about how their website looks, how their graphics look, and feeling like they can finally really put themselves out there and connect with their tribe. And then there's also this piece too of like, I'm very much, a leading edge explorer, and like, I just love exploring the new and exploring beyond physical reality and connecting to my ET family and kind of all of this woo woo fun, crazy stuff. And feeling like there needs to be kind of this bridge between the business marketing world and kind of this new stuff, new earth, where we're going. And that we can't do business and marketing the way we used to. Like, it's not business as usual anymore, and there needs to be kind of this bridge between these worlds. So that's kind of where I'm at with it now, is like, how do we now take what we know from the business and marketing world and bring it over into this other world so that we can share our messages in a bigger way, share our gifts in a bigger way, and help to create the new reality that we all want to experience here on Earth in a way that's supported and structured, and like bringing that divine structure and systems into it so that we've got kind of this solid platform to launch from as we go forward, as we create something new here on the planet. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it now. Like, I know that piece is still very important, and part of what I'm here to do and continue to provide those systems and structures and helping people with kind of the technical aspects that I seem to be kind of natural and like it's easy for me and not so easy for other people. And kind of now figuring out how do we do that in a new way now, and how do we bridge these two different worlds.
That's awesome. Yeah, that energy is so needed, because even I struggle with that. Like the other day, well, really this whole year, I've had the urge to grow my business by a lot, like quadruple it and bring in more people. And it feels really exciting and really good, and not just for growth's sake. Because I honestly have like my ideal lifestyle. And if anything, it almost brings up a little bit of fear of like, all right, what's it going to look like for me next year then? Like, am I still going to like my life? But the idea of growing my business, it almost for a moment made me feel like, well, is that really what like 5D is about? Is that allowed there? Like, can I still want that? And I checked it with my higher self, it's all aligned. But I even have those doubts and questionings of like, how do we do it then? Like, how is that? How do we get there? Because I know the old ways don't work. I've never been a fan of, certain kinds of marketing where you use a lot of fear and scarcity. But as you and I know, like sometimes you are really aligned and you are really excited, and then there's really not a growth there. It doesn't actually work, right? Like, so I love that you're pondering these things and bringing this new energy in, and you're like a new business thought leader. Because I too, I don't know what it's going to look like, because we're leaving all our references behind. Like, we've never been where we're going, and so we don't know what it's going to be like. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
definitely leading edge.
Yeah, leading edge, I know. And it's so funny. I've talked to a lot of people, especially this week, where we all feel like we got this huge upgrade. And I feel much more enlightened today than I did on Monday. Like, it's that palpable. And I've talked to a lot of people where that's true as well. So we're growing so fast. How have you been lately? What's been coming in for you?
Yeah, I love that you said that because I've definitely been feeling that too. Like a new level, new growth, like something new is coming through, is ready to be birthed in a sense. Um, and yeah, that's very much where I've been myself too, and just kind of like feeling things downloading, even though I'm not consciously aware of what it is, or like I don't have words to put it. It's more like a feeling, just kind of like feeling that downloading and upgrading, and like, ooh, something's coming, something's percolating, something's ready to come through here. And it feels very exciting, very especially after kind of the year that I've been through. Like, it's been a really interesting, often challenging year, like a lot of transition and letting go, and so it feels really exciting, like, oh, okay, now it's time for something new, I'm ready.
Nice.
So I don't know what it's going to look like. I know that kind of what's been swirling for me is the idea of, it feels like an alchemy, like it's time to bring all of these different pieces together and start to blend things in a new way, and merging things that don't necessarily seem like they could even go together, but like there's alchemy is the word that keeps coming, like just like this alchemy that's happening, where we're kind of bringing these different pieces together to create something brand new that's never been seen before, never been done before, and it's time.
It's awesome. Yeah, I definitely feel that. It's like we're all becoming whole, like all the pieces are becoming one pie. And I love that. It's really exciting. And so speaking of ETs and everything, and newness, I've been feeling, especially lately, like my body is now a light body. I don't know if you've been feeling that. And also kind of getting glimpses of like being in a different form.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and when I look at you, I definitely see a lot of ET-ness, you know? Do you ever kind of get to view yourself like that, or do other people ever notice and remark on your appearance?
No, that's not something I don't think that's ever come up, actually. That's really interesting that you say that.
Well, you heard it here.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, well, I've got this other show called Cosmic Connections. We should have you on there too, um, where we just exclusively talk about like galactic families and cosmic stuff. And I just filmed that yesterday with Harry, so this is all fresh for me. Yeah. So
Very
getting
cool.
back to this alchemy, one of the things I did want to talk to you about, which I mentioned before, is that a lot of people are feeling really disconnected, and like they have all these separate parts of themselves that they want to express, and maybe they don't feel safe enough to put them all together, or they don't know how it all goes together. Um, and you mentioned already like being okay with not knowing the details, but is there anything else you would say to people who maybe have this part of themselves they feel is a little too weird to share, or they just don't know how everything is going to fit, that maybe they don't have the kind of intuition that you do about it all, or the kind of faith that you have?
Mm. Yeah, that's a great question. The thing that comes right to mind is to find a space where you can share, whether it's a best friend, or maybe it's a Facebook group where you feel especially safe to share, or maybe it's on your blog or doing videos. Videos has been kind of where I'm at and where I'm feeling really called to share more. But just find, like, what is that kind of next step for you as far as starting to share and express what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, what you're interested in, what you're excited about, especially what you're excited about. Really exploring and expressing that in whatever way feels good, feels safe, feels kind of like that next little stretch for you. You don't have to take a giant leap and suddenly share it with the whole world. Just start with that next little step for you. Maybe you've got a best friend that is kind of that safe space for you, and you just start there with sharing a little bit more with them, or a smaller community, or whatever feels good for you, and just start to share and express more. And I feel like as we do that, just that expression can help to process and start to integrate, and things can start to make sense as we share and express it.
Beautiful. And have you ever gotten rewarded, per se, for sharing something you were afraid to share? Like, did you ever share something that you weren't sure about or that made you a little afraid, and then you touched people and they shared that with you, or you inspired them in some way?
Yes, pretty much every time I do that, that's exactly the kind of response that I met with. It amazes me every time. Every time I share something that feels really vulnerable and scary and like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm quite ready to share this. And I'm met with so much love and acceptance and support, and people like saying, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. You inspire me to share more of myself, or to explore more of myself. And it blows my mind every time.
Nice. Yeah, I find the same thing. And it's almost like every time I reach a new comfort level of sharing, then something pops into my life where it's like, damn, can I get any weirder than I already am? And then if I share that, it's like, it's not a big deal. It's only in our heads, really, that we're afraid. Um,
Yeah.
and it's so, you grow so much from sharing things like that. And I'm still learning that. I'm still, continuing to reach new comfort levels, but yeah, definitely share, because we all want to see more of you anyway, right? Like, don't we want to see the real, true people that we interact with? Isn't that more exciting than just like a dulled down version?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
I'm thinking specifically about your emails this year and how, like, you have talked about marketing in a new way, and you shared a lot of your story, like with money and relationships, um, and I definitely felt closer to you. Like, we've only even spoken a few times, but I feel like you kind of really brought us along on your journey, and it was really helpful in my personal life because what you were going through was similar to what I went through this year. And I just think it's really great. So, can we talk a little bit about the relationship thing? Because I know a lot of people this year who are kind of feeling like they've outgrown who they're with, and like that served its purpose, um and they maybe know more about themselves now and want to share more, but that's not really how the relationship dynamic was created. So, if any does any of that relate to what you went through?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, the whole relationship thing has been very interesting for me this year. Um, with the physical move, I physically left a 9-year relationship at the same time, and um, it wasn't. I think there was a piece of kind of outgrowing it, but for me, it was more about like I just felt that call to follow my truth and follow where my excitement and where I was feeling drawn, and knew that like I had to go my own way. I had to follow my own path, and that it didn't include him at this time. I still very much feel a connection to that person, and feel, like I know we've had many incarnations and lifetimes together, and like there's still very much a soul connection there. But I knew that I needed to follow my own path, and that I needed to be on my own. And yeah, it's been a very interesting year relationship wise, going from a long term relationship to now I'm in a space where I don't know that I even want any kind of committed monogamous relationship. Like, I'm exploring relationships in a whole new way now, and like really discovering more of who I am as a person, and kind of what does it mean to be in relationship with myself, and my own sexuality, and who I am as a woman and as a mother even, and like just like stuff that I it was like I couldn't even really consider or explore from a space of being in relationship, because that was kind of that was too much a part of my identity, was this us we thing. And I just, I needed that space to just be with me and find out who I am and what I really want, and how I want to be in relationship with others. And it's looking very different than typical relationships. And it's been a really fun exploration too. And really taking me outside of my own box, outside of my own like program. There's been a lot of letting go of old beliefs and programming and ideas about what relationships should look like, or like, yeah, just kind of like really going outside the box, outside the lines, and re-exploring what it means to me.
That's awesome. Very cool. So were you afraid? Like, what was going through your head? I mean, not everyone has that kind of faith, like we were talking about. Like, you are solid in your intuition, you go with what it tells you to do. But what about the people who aren't there yet?
Yeah, it was scary. There was a lot of fear that came up. I was really terrified to leave that relationship, actually. And um, yeah, it was really scary. And I feel like, maybe I didn't do it in the best way. Like, I caused a lot of hurt just because of the way that I did it, because I was so scared myself. I didn't even know how to go about it. So there was a lot of fear, and it was just, but at the same time, I knew that I knew that I knew that I needed to do this. As scary and as painful as it might be, I had to do this. And so, if you're in that space of, feeling the fear, I would say tune into that knowing as well. Like, is this something that you know that you need to do? Whatever it is, whatever the decision is, whatever that step is, tapping into that knowing, holding on to that, like, okay, I know that this is who I am, that this is my truth, that this is my next step. That's really what kind of got me through, is just that knowing, okay, I know that this is what I need to do. And as scary and painful as it might be, I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to just keep moving in that direction, even if it's just one little baby step at a time. Yeah, just kind of holding on to that knowing, and trusting that I have what I need inside of me. I have everything that I need here within me. I don't need anybody else to confirm that for me, to give me permission, to give me approval. It's all here inside of me, and that's what I really need.
Awesome. That's really great. So what does a typical day look like for you?
Hmm. Let's see. I'm often working with clients, so that'll be several days a week. That's kind of how my day starts. Is I'll get up and have my tea and meditation, and then I go right into working with clients. We do get it done sessions on Skype, where we're both kind of working on whatever's up for their website and their marketing, and I love that kind of creative, collaborative process with them. So that's kind of part of my week, is that working with clients in the marketing website world. And then the rest of the time is really just flowing with whatever I feel excited to play with or create, whether it's painting or working on my own website or going out for a walk or playing on Facebook, or one of my favorite things to do is go to the cafe and have a latte and sit and journal and talk to my guides through writing. So yeah, just kind of flowing with whatever feels fun and exciting to me. And I love that. I love having the space and the flexibility to do that. I really feel boxed in if I've got too much on my schedule or too in my calendar. I love being flexible and just being able to flow with it and go with what feels exciting, what feels good in the moment, what feels kind of spacious and easy and natural. So that's kind of, yeah, how my days and my weeks tend to flow, and it's very fun.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Very cool. Gosh, we've covered so much. It's kind of funny, like all the areas that we've gone through in the last 40 minutes. But do you have anything you want to say to people about kind of letting go and just trusting and moving forward, because obviously you're alive, you're still standing, you're still creating, you're still flowing, even though you've been through this amazing journey of, you know, following your faith, but also uncertainty and all these other things combined. It's been like, I've had a similar year where it's like amazing, beautiful, wonderful things have happened, but also I've definitely faced some bigger things in my life. So any words of encouragement or advice for people going through something similar?
Yeah, the thing that comes right to mind is you can't get it wrong. Like, even if you tried, you literally cannot get this wrong. You're here to be you, you're here to express you. That's your sole purpose, and you can't get it wrong. There is no right way to do this. The right way is your way. It's whatever feels good to you, or whatever, however it unfolds for you. So give yourself permission to just be, and to play with it, and to make a mess, to make mistakes, to try it out and experiment and get your hands into it and get a little dirty if you need to. And like, you can't get it wrong, so don't let that fear of being wrong hold you back.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. It puts me at ease when I remember that as well. Like if I'm trying to decide something, like it doesn't really matter, honestly. Everything's going to be just fine. Yeah. So if people want to connect more with their guides or their galactic family, do you have any tips on how they could do that? Or do you have any like blog posts about that we can refer to?
Yeah, absolutely. You can come on over to galactivateyou.com. That's where I share about all of that kind of stuff. There's you can actually sign up for the Galactivate You 11-day journey right there on the website, which is a combination of art and channeled messages to really help you tap into who you really are, activate who you really are, because it's from that space of remembering who you are that you can then connect with your cosmic family, your guides, your cosmic heritage, whatever it might be that you're wanting to explore. So you can certainly start with that journey to really activate more of who you really are and go from there. Also, there are some blog posts on the blog there with some tips and tools, and even step-by-step how to create your own, I call it cosmic family portrait, which is just a piece of art that you do to specifically connect with your cosmic family. So there's some really good tips and tools that you can get there on the blog to kind of get you started and start playing with it. And that's actually the other piece I want to throw in there too, is play with it. Like, this is about playing and having fun. Our cosmic family, our ET friends, that's the energy that they're in. That's where they're at, is that playful, fun, like higher vibration. So when we get into that frequency and really flow with the fun and the play and just like being like kids again, that's the easiest way to connect to them as well. So play with it, have fun with it. Don't take yourself so seriously. Use your imagination. Be a kid again and just play.
That's awesome. Yeah, and if you want to talk to your guides, angels, ET family through intuitive art, you can. It's just changing the connection of who you're talking to. And you can learn the whole process at intuitiveartacademy.com for a free class. And play around with all different styles. I love what Jess does. And do you still have your prints on your website?
I do, yes.
Beautiful. Yeah, even that can help. Like purchasing a print of a channeled work or putting it up in your room, like that can help you raise your vibration and connect more easily with that type of, person. I have one of Jess's prints framed in my guest room, and it's really cool. It says "Dream Time" on it, and it's subtle. So not everyone who sleeps in that room necessarily wants to see some aliens on the wall before they go to bed. But it's very subtle. It's really beautiful, and it has such a beautiful energy. And I kind of feel like they're like watching over whoever is a guest in my home. So it's really great. I love your art. It's so clear and it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I don't want to overwhelm people with any more, because I think I'm already feeling myself radiating from you. So I'll definitely have you on again. We should have you on the other show as well. And
Yeah,
I want to keep up with your journey. It's like, once you let people in, they get hooked and they want to know how you're doing and what you're doing. And I definitely feel that way about you. So keep letting us in, keep updating us because it's really great.
awesome. Will do. I love to hear that too. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the light language thing. All right, next time. So everybody, keep an eye out for when Jessie's back, and definitely go visit her websites. JessieWebb.co is where you can find access to Galactivate You and her marketing website, and galactivateyou.com is where you can find all that we just talked about. So thank you so much, Jessie. This has been super fun.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it as well. It's great to be here with you, Rachel.
All right. Until next time, everybody, we love you and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to intuitive art and you've never done it with me, go to intuitiveartacademy.com for your free class. You'll learn how to have a conversation with your higher self in 3 easy steps. That's intuitiveartacademy.com. And if you're already a pro or you've done the free class and you want to learn more about creating abundance from your purpose, go to workyourpurpose.com and you'll watch a free video series all about what it takes to create a purposeful income from doing what you love. All right, enjoy, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.